Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight, I'll be featuring the case of Kara Lounsbury. Let's go ahead and find out more. Let's go ahead and dive on in. Kara Lounsbury was born Kara Enander on August 15th, 1977. Her parents were Harold and Geraldine Enander. Kara also had a brother named Jared. In 1985, Harold and Geraldine divorced. When they divorced, the pair retained joint legal but split physical custody of the kids. Jared decided to live with his father, and Kara decided to live with her mother until she was about 11 years old. At that point, Kara moved back with her father until about 1993, 1994, because at this point she had attempted to commit suicide due to a breakup with her boyfriend and issues with her father. During this period, Kara was seeing a therapist. This therapist told her mother, Geraldine, that Kara was alleging sexual abuse at the hands of her father. So Geraldine took her daughter to the hospital for a complete evaluation. An examining physician, however, found no evidence of any sexual abuse. Brother Jared was also alluding to abuse during childhood from his father. However, it wasn't sexual abuse. He stated it was verbal abuse. Harold, he was a well-respected and small businessman and church leader in his community. He had decided to make efforts to reconcile and to reconnect with his children. He even put both of them on his company's payroll for doing either little or usually just no work at all. They drew salaries reported as upwards of $3,000 a month each. That's a lot for not doing any work. Harold had founded Aquahot, a Fort Lupton company employing about 75 people. What they did was they made heaters for high-end recreation vehicles. Well, Harold, after being divorced from Geraldine for many years, he later remarried to a woman named Velva Sue. Friends and relatives recall them as a very happy and loving couple. Harold, particularly known for his warm disposition and generosity. They were married for about 3 years. Now that Jared was an adult, he decided to live next door to his father in rural Adams County, and Jared also had a video surveillance system of his property, and this did have a view of Harold and Velva Anander's home. January 15th, 2009, Harold and Velva were found dead inside of their home on East 144th Avenue, south of Hudson. Their neighbor, Linda Higgins, reported seeing them lying on a bloodied floor after she hadn't heard from Velva, which was completely out of character. The police report states the initial call to a dispatcher was at 9:38 a.m. Linda told investigators she'd arrived to the house at 42729 East 144th Avenue to check on the Ananders, whom she had not heard from since January 13th. Linda stated she entered the home and found Velva face down on the floor of the main level bedroom beside the bed, covered in blood. She was clearly already deceased. Deputies later found the body of Harold. He was face down on the floor on the opposite side of the bed. Two doors of the house were unlocked, but investigators found no evidence of other prints in the snow outside. Keep in mind, it is wintertime. The inside of the house, however, especially the home office, was in complete and total disarray. Many items were broken, and those that were not were strewn about the whole room. What police were figuring was that the couple were in bed, asleep, when they were attacked. Harold was fatally shot in the back. Velva was shot 3 times before being bludgeoned in the head, causing more than 20 lacerations to the skull. This was followed by a final shot killing her. So police were wondering who was the target because Velva was attacked way more than Harold. The house was then ransacked to stage a home invasion. Well, Kara accused her brother, Jared Enander, of the murders. So Kara told detectives that on January 14th, 2009, She had been drinking, she was celebrating some good news, and went to visit her brother because she had trouble sleeping and really wanted to, quote, see what Jared was doing, end quote. So, what Kara told police in her signed affidavit was stating that she drove her black Chevy Tahoe and had 4 of her dogs with her. But she drove alone. There was no other person with her in the vehicle when she went over to Jared's house. When she arrived at Jared's door, she said she knocked on the door for several minutes, but Jared did not answer the door for her. She then pulled out of the driveway, facing the wrong direction, and then drove around the house to head home. However, there was the surveillance video system that Jared had. It appeared to confirm some of the details of the visit. It showed an SUV with a brush guard and star-shaped wheels pull into Jared's driveway at about 3 o'clock in the morning. While the video does not show who was driving the SUV, the figure appeared to be a woman. So that's not all. About 9 minutes later, the video camera showed the SUV leaving Jared's driveway, and then it pulled into the driveway of Harold and Velva's home. About an hour later, the SUV is seen driving down 144th Avenue, but it was driving with its lights off. So investigators, meanwhile, collected evidence from the Enander bedroom, and that included what they found, a latex glove. Analysis of the glove found DNA on the glove belonging to Velva Enander and from another female. The coroner reported that the Enanders were killed with either a Glock 9mm gun or a Sigma 9mm because of the distinctive rectangular impact mark on the shell casings. What the police did know was Kara was an owner of a Glock handgun and kept it in her closet. Detectives searched a Chevrolet Tahoe that belonged to Kara Lounsbury and found it had, quote, a brush guard attached to the front portion of the car, and the wheels were a star-shaped wheel, end quote. This means that Kara's vehicle matched the description of the SUV in the video, not only at Jared's driveway, but of Harold and Velva's home for an hour. Jared told investigators that less than a month before the couple was found dead, Kara had asked Jared to let her know when Harold and Velva would be going out of town. She said she wanted to enter their home and search for their father's will. Prosecutors said Kara was motivated by hatred of Velva, and her wish was to claim the proceeds from a life insurance policy that her father had. They speculate that she was desperate for financial help from her father and feared that he'd completely cut her out of his will. Quote, why did she have to beat her? Because she didn't like her. She felt threatened by her. She was going to get some of her money, end quote. Now, Judah Philippi was Velva's daughter, obviously from a previous marriage, and Kara's stepsister. She spoke in court before the sentencing of when Kara was charged with the murders. What she said was, quote, my mom was a caring and giving woman to everyone she met, including Kara Lounsbury. My mom tried to bring peace, compassion, and understanding to Kara, end quote. Kara Lounsbury, in trial, was found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder. She was immediately sentenced to 2 life sentences in prison. That is the case of Kara Lounsbury. Thank you for sticking around for another episode of Danny After Dark. Do you have any questions or comments on this case? Leave it down below. Let's be interactive. Do you have a suggestion for a case that you'd like me to cover? Leave it down below. You may see it featured in an upcoming episode. Until next time, remember, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us.